Anthony Adebayo.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes.
You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo and the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5.
We're different from any other sport.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B.
What's up? How you doing? How you doing?
I'm good, man. This Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
It's your boy Scotty B. Seriously, how are you doing?
I'm good, yo, dog. I'm good, man.
Good?
Hey, Scott, don't start you. All right, so I know a lot of people have been waiting for Wednesday. Clearly yourself. You know, and for obvious reasons. You know, wild card weekend. Pretty much every home team won except for the Cowboys. So I'm gonna need some time. All right. So
I want to give you the floor.
All right, I got something first before we even get into that. All right. Hold on one second. Shout out to G.
Bang bang Niner gang.
Okay.
Bang bang Niner
Before you get all I want to try to see something real quick, and then okay, I'm going with something. You know, so if you didn't know, Scott and I we had a little bet from week 15 to 18. So the bet was the loser. I know. Don't worry, we'll get everybody. Don't even worry about it. I got something to say about the Cowboys game. Yes, the Cowboys lost, but also Scott lost. He lost, so he has to wear a Cowboys jersey because that was the bet throughout the playoffs. We missed one round. Yeah. No. Pick your head up. You know what I mean? Because damn it. Hey, here's the thing. Had the Cowboys won, I probably was gonna say forget the bet. But I ain't gonna be the only miserable person in here. Damn it. I'm not. So let me just, you know, and he thought I forgot. I ain't say nothing. Oh. And he got you know, so it still got the tag on it too. I take that off, put that right here.
Well, I'll tell you what. After I wear this for the show, you can definitely have it back.
I mean, you got a few more weeks. Hey, that's my guy right there. But
I'll be back.
He'll be back. So while he does that, I do want to say some things. You still get to see Dak during the playoffs. That's absolutely right. So I got some things, and Scott, don't say nothing too crazy because they can still hear you. So one of the things, I got a few things to say about that game. First of all, and we'll talk about the coaching later on. Mike McCarthy is still going to be the Cowboys coach. They noted probably about 15, 20 minutes ago that he's still going to be the coach. I'm not mad about that. Okay. Yeah, here we go. First of all, I don't want to hear no "yeah, here we go" no more. Hey, welcome back, Dak. You know. Hey, listen. He should have. Hey, listen, y'all. Not to mention, this man owes me dinner. So listen, all is not lost with the loss of the Cowboys because he said the Eagles were going to win, and I told him that the Bucks. We bet dinner. I wasn't going to bring up the video, But in regards to that game, it was a few things that I was irritated about. Mainly, I know people were talking about Mike McCarthy. Hey, yo, you good?
Yeah.
You actually look really good in that Cowboys jersey, yo. But so my thing was the Cowboys played more men than any other team in the league, right? This whole season. And all of a sudden, this game comes and we want to play zone. I saw some people say, "Oh, you didn't play zone that long." They was playing zone at damn near every third down. We played zone, right? And it was frustrating to see. And one of the things that I noticed going back years, right? We could go back years with Dan Quinn is with that type of offense, which McVay runs, LaFleur, Shanahan, McDaniel. And some other people that run that same type of offense with a bunch of motions, and things like that, we have a problem with it. I feel like he poops his pants anytime we have to play those type of offenses, and it's shown the last 3 years those are the games we lose, right? And what's going to end up happening? Green Bay is not going to be able to run the ball the way they ran the ball last week, mainly because they got linebackers that are stout. I got super frustrated third quarter with we just need a stop, and we still have almost like we're running a dime defense. Got 4 down linemen and 6 DBs. We had 6 DBs on the court. I'm about to say the field. I mean on the court, but on the field, and it gets so frustrating watching it because it's like, dude, you're about to be a head coach again, and you look unequipped to be a head coach. Like, and Tony Wheeler looked unprepared. The Cowboys looked unprepared. It was actually really discouraging watching it. Like it gets to the point where like next season, like I ain't gonna lie, I was a little upset on Sunday, right? Because I was like, this was a shot. If there was any time you had a shot, this was a shot. And I feel like we'll have a shot. We'll still be good next year. We have a tougher schedule, but I think we'll still be fine. And it's just another year, more disappointment in regards, because it's like nobody in their right mind thought that, there's some people that thought Cowboys were going to lose just because they didn't like the Cowboys. Even if they didn't like the Cowboys, they didn't expect the Cowboys to lose this week. They were thinking in 2 weeks, but
so you're about to disagree with everything I'm about to say. So Dan Quinn, you're right? So I felt like he's got plenty of blame. But what I saw, and what I always tell you, is I saw a lack of leadership by the players. We'll start with Micah Parsons, right? He's this all-world defensive guy, but he's got to figure out a way to rally the troops.
That's fair. But I don't think he's not the leader of the defense. DeMarcus Lawrence is.
Yeah, but he's always in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year.
That's true.
He's the most known on that team. And at some point, it's the coaches, but the players have to step up. They've got to take accountability for that.
Right.
The offense, the entire game looked totally out of sync, right? It didn't look sync. They weren't on the same page. The running game is pretty much non-existent, which, Tony Pollard, unfortunately, he's just not the back that we thought he was.
Right.
I'm not going to say he had a bad season, but I think that you almost have put the Cowboys in the same situation that Buffalo was in with Josh Allen, to where you're relying on Dak to do entirely too much. It's not
pretty much everything.
Yeah, he does everything, right? So, he threw 2 horrendous interceptions, right? And I think that the stats don't tell really the story of how he played, but I can't say that he played terrible, right? You know what I mean? So he made some crucial mistakes, but that's going to happen.
Right.
But he shouldn't always have to feel like that he's got to press. I personally, honestly, I think that the Cowboys should have made a run at Bill Belichick.
Oh, hell no.
I personally do. I don't think Mike McCarthy is necessarily did a bad job, but I don't know if he's necessarily the guy to get that team over the hump. And what I mean by that is you look at the last 3 years, or he's been there 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
What the Cowboys have been is they've been consistent through the regular season. They'll give you 12 wins. But for whatever reason, when it comes to the playoffs, the team is not as prepared as they need to be. And like you said, maybe it does have to go with Kyle Shanahan, LaFleur, and some of those guys where Dan Quinn has a hard time adjusting.
Right.
But I've got to put a lot of that on Mike McCarthy. I personally thought that Jerry Jones was taking so long to say something because he was going to make a serious run at Bill Belichick.
I don't think that was the case. And maybe he did. And Belichick says he's probably going to the Falcons or one of those Chargers or somebody else. I don't know. He's probably going to go to the Falcons.
I think that, and Bill Belichick, unfortunately, I think if he does go to the Falcons, he's wrong. All right. I think that
he's wrong.
Look, Bill Belichick at the end of the day wants to win another Super Bowl. He needs to win another Super Bowl without Tom Brady. I don't know if at this point in his career that he is the right coach to bring the young team along. I think that he's the perfect coach to go into a situation and fix a team that maybe has a little bit of trouble getting to the next step. I think that he could be good for that defense. I think if he could definitely, he wouldn't have the same problems that Dan Quinn had. And you give him a quarterback like Dak and you give him all the talent, I think he could have did anything. I really am struggling with if McCarthy is the right guy.
Well, we're gonna find out. So can I just, and this is the last we could talk about Dallas for the rest of the season, right? Because I honestly didn't even want to talk about them today, but we kind of had to. We kind of had to.
I'm gonna give you a slight pass because I realize that we have to play this weekend. So I am being a little bit more humble.
I get it. I get it.
Then I really would like to be in this Cowboys.
I get it. So let me say this. Right. I feel like, and this is again like this. I want because we got a bunch of stuff that we need to talk about. This is what I think the Cowboys should do. Right. McCarthy's fine. Dan Quinn is going to be gone. Thank God. Right. And I don't want to feel like I'm turning against Dan Quinn, but he need linebacker help, and he don't want to play like regular linebackers. He wants to convert safeties to linebackers and thinks that's going to win. It's not going to win. You know, Bobby Wagner's not a converted safety. You know, but anyway, so this is what I think they need to do. What I think they need to do is try and get Saquon Barkley, right? And we talked about this the other day. I think if the Cowboys were able to pull off getting Saquon Barkley, that would not Derrick Henry, not nobody else. You get Saquon Barkley, and that is equivalent to the 49ers getting Christian McCaffrey, because when Christian McCaffrey was in Carolina, what was the biggest issue? He was always hurt. He's missed one game for the 49ers. And that was 2 weeks ago. That was it. That was the only game he's missed in a year and a half being with the 49ers. And I think that's the same thing that would happen if Saquon Barkley found the way to get to Dallas, right? He will all of a sudden be the healthiest player in the league. And he would balance out the offense and take pressure off of Dak, take pressure off of CeeDee Lamb, because a lot of people are going to say, if you take away CeeDee Lamb, you're pretty much going to win the game, which I don't think it was the case. I do think that last week Dak tried to force feed CeeDee Lamb a little bit too much, which led to an interception, and him missing a wide open receiver down the sideline. But whatever. The other thing is get help on the interior D line. We got to get help on the interior D line and get some better safety help. Now the corner, what's his name that played for the Patriots? God, yeah. Anyway, he's gonna be a year older. And I don't know if we bring him back, but those are the main things. And go get another receiver. Go get another possession receiver, or bring back Brandon Cooks. I'm cool either way. But the main thing is get interior D line help, safety help, and linebackers. Let me not forget linebackers, and Saquon Barkley. You get Saquon Barkley in because he's leaving, and give him 3 years. Give him 3 years, $30 million.
Okay.
Trust me, I think he's taking that.
So we can agree to that, but I don't want to talk about the Cowboys. I think you suffered enough, the loss itself, and
I'm good. First of all, Michigan won the national championship 6 days earlier. That kind of like eases the pain a little bit, but it's just whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, what else you want to talk about? I don't got nothing else to talk about.
The Eagles.
Oh yeah, let's talk about the Eagles. Now I did say they was gonna lose.
So that's where the dinner bet. So I've lost. So let me get this straight. So I have a Dak jersey on.
Yeah.
That really honestly came down to the Eagles, because if the Eagles would have beat the Cardinals, we'd have been tied,
and it wouldn't even matter.
It wouldn't even matter. So,
yeah.
So I lost there. So that's why I'm in the Dak jersey, because
that is
the
true.
Eagles lost, and then I
Twice.
lost a dinner.
Yeah, because the
Eagles lost.
Yeah.
All right, I think I'm off the Eagles bandwagon.
I think the Eagles are done here. Hey, so about that game, right? I feel like it was no different. The only difference between how the Eagles played during the season was that they looked lifeless. They didn't look like they wanted to be there. It was almost embarrassing to watch, right? As a fan of football, it was like, what the hell is going on? But then you sit back and think about it, and you look at it and like, this is the team we've been watching all year. They're the one team that hasn't changed from week 1 to the wild card round, because that's the last. So you got 19 weeks of data, and they all look the same.
So I want to tell you what I saw. Matt Patricia probably shouldn't have a job.
No, he is. Go ahead, and I'm gonna tell you who I think he is. A player comp.
Yeah. So Matt Patricia,
Mm-hmm.
number one, that team could not tackle to save their life.
Nope.
And they looked like they were always out of place, and they
Yep.
looked like they weren't prepared to play like Tampa Bay. It was probably the most lopsided game. You could argue that the Kansas City game, but I would say that was a lopsided game. Now, I do feel like that y'all got y'all butt whipped. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
I mean, because
I think the Eagles were worse though.
Yeah, but at least it got to the point to where it was a possibility that you could make a comeback, right? You know what I mean? Like it was certain plays to where I think most of us after the first half knew that it was over. But
it was not. Don't do that. Don't do that. Most people was like, "Well, Dallas scored here. They get the ball back and score. We got a ball." Don't do that. People did not think, even when it was 27-7, people didn't think the game was over. They didn't. They thought, because I ain't gonna lie to you. I got a lot of disrespectful like text messages and stuff like that. I got a message from one of our boys, Justin, and he's a Giants fan, but we've been clashing from the day I met him in 1999, right? And he even texted me, was like, he's like, the NFL is scripted. I smell a comeback victory, da 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 da, and I'm like, mind you, in between that text message, I was getting a lot of. Listen, y'all. Hold on 1 second. I got another thing to say. All y'all fans that like teams that aren't in the playoffs, that didn't even make the playoffs, and we dog walked you. I don't want to hear nothing from you. If you're a fan of the Commanders, the Giants, the Jets, I got harassed by a Jets fan. Jets. They ain't won a Super Bowl since our parents probably wasn't even born yet. Oh, my parents were born, but still, a Jets fan.
I'll tell you why this loss things, right? So I was the only idiot to put money on the Cowboys. I thought that they were going to beat the Packers, and I put money on the Cowboys. I legitimately thought that y'all were going to at least get that done, but I digress. All right, so look, right now in the AFC,
right?
You got the Bills. They're going against the Chiefs.
That's the game of the weekend.
Yeah, and then you got Lamar going up against C.J. Stroud. Which quarterback is under more pressure to get it done, Lamar or Josh Allen?
Honestly, I think it's about even. I think if but going into the playoffs, if you had to name a quarterback that was under the most pressure, it was Lamar, Dak, and Josh Allen. I think those three quarterbacks have so much pressure tied into them. Dak done. So you got Lamar. I think they're literally neck and neck as far. And I feel like the Texans and Ravens game is going to be close at first, but I think the Ravens win by maybe 9 or 10 or something like that. And I can't get my hand on that Chiefs Bills game because there's a lot of things that come into play. Like this is the first time Patrick Mahomes is playing on the road, in the playoffs, which I don't really think is going to be that big of a deal. I think what the bigger problem is his receiving core, right? I don't think that they're going to be able to make enough plays, but we talked about this a number of times. It's hard to go against Patrick Mahomes because you feel like he can do something for them to get the victory.
But that's where the pressure starts for Josh Allen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is if there's a year that he can get it done,
Yeah.
is this year, right? Because
Right.
you got the Chiefs to where this is the first year in a long time to where they're not that dominant team. Like you
Correct.
see that they could be beat.
Mhm.
They're going to Buffalo, and I think that they've got a good opportunity to win that game. But I agree with you that I think Lamar is going to be under more pressure. And we got our guy Phil. He says this all the time, right? That
Mhm.
he's going to be the MVP.
Yep.
And they're going to apply that pressure to where he's a two-time MVP.
Yep.
He's going to end up having to get it done. And I think it's an added pressure to where now that the season is over, most people have to recognize that the Baltimore Ravens are the most complete team in the NFL as far as like they've got a good defense.
Yeah.
They fixed their offense. Isaiah Likely, he's been playing.
And Mark Andrews might be coming back.
Yeah, he's coming. So now you've got a dual tight end situation. You got Zay Flowers has had a real good season. Bateman has figured out how to catch the ball
And stay healthy.
and stay healthy this season. Then you got Odell Beckham and you got Lamar, who's just facilitating.
They have
all
everything
this.
to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, you've got Harbaugh.
They got everything to win a Super Bowl.
And so most people are looking at that and saying, if the Ravens lose, it's going to be Lamar Jackson's fault.
So let me ask you this. So let's say the Ravens and the Bills lose
Lamar would get more criticism than Josh Allen.
because he's an MVP.
Yeah, well,
And he's black.
and I feel like that Josh Allen at times
Mhm.
takes criticism, but it's a segment of the population that will make excuses
For Josh
for
Allen.
Josh Allen. I think what we talked about and why I didn't really want to go too tough on Dak, and I thought about this about Josh Allen, right?
Mhm.
So when Josh Allen makes a costly mistake,
Mhm.
it's because he's got to overcompensate for what he doesn't have.
Right.
We just saw the same situation with Dak and the Cowboys, where I feel like he had to overcompensate for the lack of the run game, right?
Right.
So you've got to put that pressure. We give Josh Allen that pass. What Lamar,
I don't, but
most
yeah,
people do,
absolutely.
right? But Lamar, what we'll say is, if he has a bad game, yeah, I told you he's not that good. Or if he happens to get hurt, oh yeah, he runs too much.
Mhm.
We figure out ways to justify his bad performance,
Mhm.
and I think that's why he's under the most pressure to get it done out of the two quarterbacks. Now, team-wise, of course, my Niners, I think is Super Bowl or bust here, right? And I feel in the NFC, from a fan perspective,
if the 49ers don't make it to the Super Bowl.
yeah.
Oh my God! What?
But as a fan, and I don't want to be overconfident, but if you were to tell me to get to the Super Bowl that we just have to go through the Bucks, the Packers, and the Lions, I like my odds a lot better than if the Eagles and the Cowboys.
Yo, that sounds crazy, man.
It does sound crazy, and like I said, if we lose,
drop the ball.
it'll be dropping the ball because the Packers. I want to give credit where it's due, right?
Mhm.
They beat the Cowboys, but the best thing that could have happened to us is they beat the Cowboys, and I hope that my team at least watch that game and say, you know what, we got to play these guys, and we got to be a little bit more serious.
The other thing is like it was going to be a mirror image of each other offensively. Yeah, I mean, they literally run this. I wouldn't even be surprised if the terminology is because they're so close, right? The coaches. But
we can't lose that. That's the matchup. Honestly,
that's a pretty dangerous matchup just because.
Yeah. So again, as this playoffs has shown, because like we even saw it with the Browns and Texans. I think me and you, we were on here talking about if there was an upset, it was going to be that game.
Right.
What I see with the Texans is, and they've got a lot of the Packers, like they've got the same similarities to where they are young enough to be like to not care.
You want to hear something crazy?
What?
You want to hear something crazy? The Packers are the youngest team in the playoffs, right? You know who the second youngest team in the playoffs were?
The Texans, right?
No, the Cowboys.
Oh, wow.
The Cowboys were the second youngest team on average. So the Packers were 25 in like 8 months. The Cowboys were like 26 years and four months.
So you know what's interesting? Somebody quoted me a stat. This year in the playoffs, there's not a quarterback over 30 years old.
Yeah, because
Jared Goff is the oldest quarterback.
It was Dak, but then he lost.
But what you're seeing is, you're seeing the emergence of Jordan Love. You're seeing the emergence of C.J. Stroud. Brock Purdy hasn't played there, but he's there. And then you got Lamar, and you have you don't have like the Brady's, the Rodgers and all the guys.
Well, you had Flacco. He was, but
or Russell Wilson. Or the guys
I mean, because those guys are. I mean,
they're on their way out.
If you think about it, Aaron Rodgers probably has one more year. If that, he may. I don't know,
right.
But Aaron Rodgers may have one more year. Russell Wilson, he probably has maybe 3 or 4 years, maybe.
Right.
Who else is old? Flacco. I'm not counting, but Flacco will be back next year. I don't know if it's going to be with the Browns more than I don't know, but he'll be back next year because
I felt bad watching him. Right, and I want to tell you, it was like the past like 4 or 5 weeks or however long he's been playing. It was like, man, he turned back Father Time, and then it looked like he just got old all of a sudden. It was like he had magical cleats. And somebody stole his magical cleats. And he was just
he was bad. He was like he would run the ball. I'm like, oh my God,
what is he doing out there?
Old geriatric quarterback. No. I did feel a little bad for him because it just seemed like he couldn't get away from defenders and I when he threw those pick sixes, I was like, damn. But I don't know. But yeah.
So
So
let me ask you this, right?
Mhm.
So you got C.J. Stroud,
yeah.
and I've always been a fan, and I will keep reminding everybody that
Yeah.
I said I would take him number one, and I predicted that he'd be the quarterback going into this. So that's I've had some bad takes this year that have been played on video, so I've got to remind.
Hey, listen! Don't even worry about it.
I
We
gotta remind everybody.
You're gonna have like because we are gonna review that and we're gonna make sure that your offensive rookie of the year pick and that you were absolutely right. You were spot on with C.J. Stroud.
He's a bad guy.
I didn't think he wasn't going. I thought he was going to be good. I don't know if I thought he was going to be this good. To even where he might get an MVP vote. I don't think because he missed some games, so he probably won't get a vote. But I mean, he's got to be rookie of the year, right? I mean, you got Puka, Puka Nacua.
Well, I think after that performance.
Well, I mean, they already voted, so.
Yeah, but even so, right?
Mm-hmm.
What stands out is the moment's not too big,
Right.
and this guy can make every possible throw on the football field. I mean, people talk about Tank Dell
Mm-hmm.
and what a big loss that was.
Yeah.
But somehow this guy loses a weapon like that and figures out how to still get hit, Nico Brown or Nico Collins and
Noah Brown.
Noah Brown.
He combined both receivers.
Right,
Hey.
exactly. But he figures out how to get them all involved
Right.
and do what he needs to do. So I think the Ravens in that matchup, they win. The issue that I see, and I think the Ravens will button it up, is those teams are really familiar with each other and they kind of mirror each other. So I think the defense, the Baltimore defense figures out how to get it done. I think Lamar is going to have a really good game in that game. But
I think the Ravens. You got the Ravens?
I got the Ravens.
Who you got in Buffalo, Kansas City?
I know I'm going to hate to say this. I really, really, really don't want to say this. Well, I think Buffalo is going to get it done. I never thought I'd see the day to where I bet against Patrick Mahomes. But I think that you got a lot of hot teams. And me and you have been talking about this. And I think this is what makes me a little nervous about the matchup that we have against the Packers is you have the Packers, you got Buffalo, and you got Houston, and you got the Bucks, right?
Mm-hmm.
That all, for all intents and purposes, if you would have asked us halfway during the season, most people would have counted all four of those teams of not making the playoffs, right? You know, maybe the Bucks because they play in a different division, but at the time, midway through, they were battling it out with Atlanta for the top of that division. The Packers, like midway through, we were talking about how trash Jordan Love is and how they may have missed on that team. Houston, even though C.J. Stroud had a phenomenal start, we didn't know if that was going to come back to earth, and the expectations for that team was really low. And then Buffalo, just the journey that they were able to kind of make the go on that run and to take it a game at a time. And it really ultimately boils down to, can your team get hot at the right time, right? And who's playing the best football in December, and they find that right switch, and you can go on a run. So that's what's going to be interesting about the rest of the playoffs to see if it kind of irons out.
So I guess before we get to the winner of the week, so you got San Francisco winning.
Yes.
Is it a blowout?
No. I think that we're going to have to win that game. I think that team, what I saw, all jokes aside, with Dallas, I saw a team that is not too big for the moment. Like most teams would have been intimidated going into Dallas because I'm sure they heard all the chatter, they heard all the underdogs talk, and Dallas. I mean, we'll just call it what it is. They don't lose in Dallas, right? So for that team to be the youngest team and to go out there and to really say, you know what, we're going to take the ball first. We're going to go down there and we're going to score, and we're going to like continue to try to enforce our will. That you have to take a team like that legitimate. And I think that with us, they're going to come into San Francisco with the same mentality.
Yeah. As they should.
Yeah. And it's going to be one of those situations to where we're going to have to impose our will on them. And it's not going to be a situation where like you're going to just be able to punk them. Like you have to go out there and beat that team.
Yeah.
And I think we will, because I think that you guys exposed that this team is like legitimate. Like you have to take that team seriously.
And then you got Detroit. Shout out to Detroit getting the first playoff win since we were like 10 years old. So but shout out to them, man. I got them beating the Bucks. But I don't think people should sleep on the Bucks. But
the Bucks played a phenomenal game. Baker Mayfield, and I've been critical of Baker Mayfield since he came in the NFL.
My guy.
I didn't think that he was a very good quarterback for the Browns. I
mean, he only had the rookie record in touchdown passes, but whatever.
But I thought that he got more opportunities and that team was better than he got credit for. And I felt that in a lot of moments, he didn't necessarily produce. And I felt that his play was bad when he was with the Browns. I thought that he struggled with being accountable for his own mistakes. They got him out of Cleveland. I think the Odell Beckham situation got him pretty much out of Cleveland. When he played with the Panthers, okay, you know, it's the Panthers. But I felt like he rebounded really well with the Rams.
Oh, absolutely. That ultimately
got him where he is now. And I think most people said, okay, the Bucks, they moved on from Tom Brady. They now have Baker Mayfield. Can he be a bridge quarterback till we figure out what we're going to do? And all season, he really played good football.
He played some good football.
He played good football. And we'll see, because the Lions were talking crap about him. You know, what's his name? Gardner.
Gardner Johnson.
Yeah, Gardner Johnson said that, that's a good team over there. They had a quarterback, they'd be a little bit better. So, you know.
I don't know why he talking.
Yeah, you know what Baker said? He told him, he said, that guy doesn't watch any film.
Clearly. And so here's my thing. Like, again, shout out to Detroit. I don't think I've just watching a game, saw a football game. And that, you know what that atmosphere reminded me of? The 2016 and 2017 Golden State Warriors. You remember when they played in Oakland at the old arena, and how crazy it used to sound on TV, how loud it was. It was so loud, and you can hear it through the TV, and I'm like, man, yeah, this is the first thing I said. I don't ever sound like that when Dallas on TV. It's not. Now, granted, anyway, but that was probably the livest atmosphere in a football game that I've seen in quite some time. Maybe Legion of Boom, Seattle, or Buffalo gets really loud, or third quarter Steelers when Roethlisberger and all of them guys were there. But it was crazy, and now there were some missed calls, and the Rams played some good football. I don't think them refs was gonna let Detroit lose that game. I don't think so. But nah, shout out to them. It's gonna be 4 good games. I think that
that team's not going anywhere.
I think
Dan Campbell has gotten them playing good football. They played all season. They've been consistent. So I mean that's going to be a tough game too. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
All right, let's get to the winner of the week.
No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner.
So look, my winner of the week is real simple.
Uh-oh.
My winner of the week or winners of the week is all these Eagle fans and all these Cowboy fans that are sitting there praying on the demise of the 49ers, right? So I want to tell you, right now, most Eagles fans and most Cowboy fans would love for us to take a slug and to suffer with them. And a lot of fans out there, not you, you haven't said anything, but I'm pretty sure you share that sentiment, would love for us to be one and done and to sit on the couch as well. So every fan that has been in my DMs, every fan that's been
DMs?
That's been talking crap to me at work.
Okay.
Every fan that is just out there, you are my winner of the week, and you get a resounding F you if you continue to harass me. And I hope we take care of the Packers and we take care of business Saturday or this weekend.
My go?
Yeah, it should go.
Okay. Now I will say, shame on you fans. I'm serious. Shame on you fans of teams that, because I'm sure it was probably some teams other than the Eagles and the Cowboys that were harassing you.
Eagles and Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I listen. It's some dumb fans out there. I ain't gonna lie. Cowboys, Eagles, and all teams, 49ers, all teams. But I will say this: if your team lost, listen. I'm speaking from experience, right? We lost, and the 49. I mean, the Eagles lost. And I was just like, we're not playing next week. I was like, man, I was trying to be like fake happy. The only thing I can say is that NFC East sucked this year. That's all I can say. I would like, my thing is this. I'm just to speak for myself. I am a football fan before I'm a Cowboy fan, right? I'm going to defend the Cowboys. I'm going to defend Dak. Whatever. But I like football first, right? So, if the 49ers lose, I'm really not going to get any joy. The only thing that it's going to do for me is I ain't got to hear your damn mouth talking about, oh, we won the Super Bowl, because again, most of the teams that are left I got plenty, my cousin, and I got so many damn 49er fans that are friends and family. It's ridiculous, all right? Packers, my brother-in-law, one of my best friends, grew up with Packer fans. They weren't too bad on me, but they could have been. You know, we got Phil, and I know some other Raven fans. Now, here's the thing. Who else is left? The Texans, Lions. I don't really know too many Lion fans other than celebrities.
I've got a ton of Lions fans, and that's just because my family in Michigan.
But I'll tell you this. I ain't gonna lie to you. All right? Listen, I can't wait till the day the Bills lose. I cannot. If there's only one thing, I don't normally do this, right? I don't. But our good friend Mike, I'm telling you now, if y'all lose this weekend, if y'all lose this weekend, I'm telling you, Mike, don't join none of the calls. Don't leave the group chat because we love you. Don't leave the group chat. But we're going to go live in our group because here's the thing. And you know what? Before I even get to that, I'm going to say shout out to Mike because he gave his son an experience of going to that Bills Steelers game. And I commend him, right? I think that was super dope to do. I thought it was a little crazy, right? But it was still dope, and I think that's a great experience for your son. And I ain't gonna lie, if it was me, I probably would have did the same thing. I'm sure you probably would have did the same thing. Oh, no, Scott wasn't gonna do the same thing. Scott wasn't going to be no slow snow. I probably wouldn't have either. But if Xavier was like, he really wanted to go to a Cowboys Bills game, and it was in the snow, and I'm like. But I commend him for that. With that being said, with that being said, the way he's treated me over the last year, if the Bills lose, not the rest of Bills Mafia, just Mike. Just Mike.
So I want to tell you what got intense, right? Our good friend Phil, Ravens fan,
Yeah.
and Mike, Bills fan, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Was that yesterday or the day before?
It felt like they were fighting on Founders Day, like because both alphas.
That is true. Yeah, it was Founders Day. It was Founders Day.
And if you know Phil, very polite guy, sarcastic, good jokes or whatnot. But for the most part, he stays pretty mild manner. And Mike, he talks a little bit. For the most part, he I ain't gonna say he stays humble, but he's Mike.
Right.
And to see them two go at it.
Oh, we just let them cook.
And at the time, the Bills hadn't won anything. Like I said, I hope we win, so I'm going to root for my team.
Yeah.
But I would love nothing more than to see the Bills and the Ravens go at it and watch these two go at it. I really.
All right, so can I say something?
Yeah.
This is like my dream scenario, right? Well, first of all, I think the dream scenario that we talked about last week was Cowboys, 49ers, Bills, Ravens, and how crazy our group chat would have been at that time. But 49ers to make the Super Bowl, right? Because I don't see a perfect scenario ever written for a team. It's just ridiculous. Whatever. And Ravens beat the Bills, so the Bills don't go to the Super Bowl again. And then Ravens 49ers. And I'll let y'all,
And that's going to be an intense week. So, look.
2 weeks, because it's a week between the game.
So, look, on be honest, if the Ravens and the 49ers end up in the Super Bowl,
Phil's definitely going to be on the show.
He'll be on the show, but that is the only time I will talk to Phil in that 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing.
Nah, Phil's my guy. But I already know it'll be intense. That's the one team that is left that scares me. And it's gonna be interesting. So
I got to get through this week.
Oh, we got to get through this week. You got to get through. We have to get through. It's going to be a tough 2 weeks, right? So Detroit or the Bucks, like if they get to the NFC Championship game, they're not going to just lay down.
Yeah.
Y'all
play Detroit this year?
No.
And the Bills and the Ravens didn't play neither, right?
I believe they haven't.
Not this year. Ooh. I hope that's the championship games. I mean, Kansas City. I think if Kansas City plays Detroit, Baltimore. I think Baltimore is going to beat Kansas City by 2 scores, right? I think Kansas City will put up a fight, and I'm starting to lean towards picking Buffalo. I think Buffalo's going to win this week. I got Buffalo, Baltimore, Detroit, San Francisco. I think those are 2 good. Because Detroit is really good. It ain't like they're a bad team. They got weapons. Yeah, they got one of the best run defenses in the game. Their defense is way better than it was last year. Golf is playing some pretty good ball. I know people who like to say, "Oh, he's going to turn," but golf is going to golf. But golf is all year. He's a good quarterback.
You know what it is with golf? He's not necessarily a quote-unquote franchise quarterback, but he's an above-average quarterback. I mean, he makes all the throws. He can go out there and he can win you a game if he falls behind. And he's not a game manager. So I think I've had to change my outlook on the title game manager, right? Because it used to be that's a bad thing, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. And I think it's another tier to where it's like, okay, this guy can manage the game, but if you need him to go out there and win you the game, he could possibly win you the game. And you have quarterbacks that they can't do that. They can't turn on the switch to where, okay, now they're in a prevent defense. I've got to go down there. I've got to lead this drive to get us into that position.
Right.
So something I do want to talk about, Jim Harbaugh.
I was just about to say the coaches and because we talked about the best jobs available last week. Jim Harbaugh is going to go to the Chargers. If I check my phone right now, he's probably already signed the deal. He's going. Well, here's the thing. I read something today about he wants to stay at Michigan, and he wants an extension at Michigan. I think they offered like $11.5 million, $12 million a year, which he would get more than that in the NFL. But he just wants, if he gets suspended or whatever, that he's protected just in case, right? And if they do want to fire him or let him go, that it goes to like a 3-person arbitration board and not through the AD. So he doesn't trust the AD, clearly. I think we knew that for like years, but he doesn't trust the AD. And if Michigan is smart, they're going to keep Jim Harbaugh.
So that's all he's doing is leverage, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think he does. So I think there's a lot of different factors, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got his Michigan situation where he's not totally happy there, but he's not like, oh, I've got to get out of here. You know what I mean? Because he won the championship. It is what it is. And he knows that he could be heralded as the next Bo Schembechler, right? You know, the college world could be his oyster.
Absolutely.
But then you got other situations, right? So you got Atlanta, which I think he's the better fit than Belichick, just for the simple fact that I think he's relatable. The younger players, just with being coaching.
Listen, Belichick, I think Belichick's old and wise. I just had this conversation right before the show with somebody else who was a Patriots fan. I think Belichick's he's old and wise, man. Go golf. Go golf. You know,
I think he has value, but there's some things that he has to tweak, right? So one thing about Jim Harbaugh, you look at it, his coaching tree. He's always aligned with the right type of coaches to bring his system to life. You know what I mean? Belichick, we've always like talked about his coordinators that always go on and they always fail. And ultimately, that's what ended up getting him canned with the Patriots is he wouldn't bring in a right offensive coordinator.
Right.
His defense, he's always had that like staple.
The defense always been good. Even when they had bad teams, even this year they had a good defense. Yeah. So
this is offense, but so you look at that situation in Atlanta, right? So I think he's the best fit for there. The Washington Commanders situation, I think, would be intriguing for him.
What? Why? Yeah, I want you to explain this.
Hear me out.
Hell no.
Hear me out. He has the opportunity to get more control, right? So
he doesn't need control. He needs to just coach.
He
sucks as a GM.
Yeah. He needs to coach, and he probably does suck as a GM. But so to get Harbaugh, you're going to have to do something enticing to get him, because right now you presented the Michigan option, and you're right about that Michigan option where that's a lot going on. So for him to take a pro job, he's not going to want to be in a similar situation to where he was in San Francisco.
Absolutely.
You know, where he's got to answer to like a GM. He doesn't like the players or anything like that. So
him and the GM need to be hand in hand.
They need to be lockstep. So, so he's got to be in a situation where he maintains that control. You look at it, his brother is right up the street. You know what I mean? So, you know, him and his brother are tight. We saw it at the Michigan game or whatnot. And
we saw it in the Super Bowl.
The Washington situation with the right draft picks, because it got 9 draft picks. If the right person was drafting for them, the defense is not as bad as people think it is. You know, they got rid of some pieces, but they got a lot of draft capital. And he's going to have an opportunity to really, whether he's in Atlanta, whether he's in Washington, not so much with the Chargers because they've already got a quarterback, is take his guy. Now, there's not J.J. McCarthy in the first round because I don't think that he's going.
J.J. McCarthy's going to get drafted. As crazy as it sounds,
You think the first round?
For whatever reason, I got a feeling that J.J. McCarthy is going to get drafted. It might not happen. I just have a feeling. It's just something like,
with all those quarterbacks that are out there, and as much
ain't
as
say-
I love J.J. McCarthy,
I ain't say early in the first round, but
yeah.
here's my thing.
Maybe
let
later,
me tell you like this, right? Would you have thought Jalen Hurts was going to go in the first round?
No,
he went in the second
second
round, right?
round. But no,
right?
I didn't.
Did you think Jordan Love would go in the first round?
No, I didn't.
And so even Jalen Hurts got drafted. They traded up to get him, right? They traded up to get him. It's something about J.J. McCarthy that makes me say first round, second round. I don't know what it is because I feel like he'll probably he's going to get drafted.
He's going to get drafted, but I feel like
when you lose one college game in 3 years.
But we said the same thing about Mac Jones, right? And
no, we didn't.
I mean, Mac Jones, like people thought that he was a suitable guy. I remember people talking about he was the best quarterback.
They did not say he was the best quarterback in his class.
Well, I mean, you got to look at, and let's rewind it a little bit. That was a class with Trae Young. It was Justin Fields ended up being in that class, and Justin Fields is better than those guys. But there were guys out there that
the best quarterback in that class was the one that went number one, Trevor Lawrence.
Oh yeah, you know what? I forgot about that. So let me back that up. We'll say in that draft he was the top 3.
But he had just won a national championship.
He had just won a national championship. He probably played for one of the greatest college football teams of all time at the time.
Because that was right after that was the COVID year that they played, right?
Yeah,
that was the COVID year because they beat it wasn't Clemson. Was it Clemson? Who did Alabama beat that year? It was Clemson because Clemson beat Clemson beat what you call it? Ohio State.
Yeah,
right.
And you're right. He could go in the first round, but I don't think with all the quarterbacks that's available, if Harbaugh has like the 8th or 9th pick, and he picks J.J. McCarthy over all those quarterbacks, he's gonna have a tough time in the NFL. That's all I'm saying.
Not over those quarterbacks.
Yeah,
I feel like so I don't know if he'll go to a team. I personally think, because I said this before, that I thought that I didn't think Harbaugh was leaving. Now I picked up a whole lot of steam, and this ain't like the first time he's done this, right? I want to say maybe the year before they went to the playoffs the first time, or the year after, I can't remember. And he interviewed with Minnesota, and he had a little bit of, you know what I'm saying? So if I was Harbaugh and I had to choose out of all the open jobs right now, me personally, I would take Seattle. Harbaugh's not going to take Seattle, right? If I was him, I would take Seattle because they have everything that he can. Geno Smith is a serviceable guy for now, and he could be the bridge guy till you get your new quarterback. But they got everything. They got a great receiving room, a good running back room. The O-line is intact. Their DBs are legit. Their linebackers are solid, and they got a good D-line. Seattle is a good job. And if Harbaugh was to go to Seattle, which would be crazy because he was in San Francisco, but if he was to go to Seattle, they gonna give y'all a run for y'all money.
I don't think he'll go to Seattle for one reason.
Why?
I think their next coach, they're looking for somebody to kind of have a similar up-tempo.
Well, and what you call it, him and Pete Carroll don't get along.
But they want somebody not similar to Pete Carroll, but somebody with like similar like energy.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting regardless. I hope he stays in Michigan, but I do understand he's got to take whatever opportunity goes his way.
All right. So with that being said, if you have to rank the available coaches right now, who from top 5? We just go top 5. Who you got?
So Harbaugh,
Yeah, Harbaugh is 1.
yeah, I got him
Okay.
as 1. I got Belichick, depending on what you're doing. So Belichick's the greatest coach of all time, but I
Mhm.
don't think that he's going to be in the development.
Washed.
He's a washed.
He is washed. Belichick is washed, man. His style don't work in the NFL no more.
The OC for the Detroit Lions, things named
Ben-
Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson, yep.
Yeah, he would be my number 3 pick, and he should be in line to get a job. Before this last game, I would have put Dan Quinn in there, but I think he could have cost himself an opportunity. Now he's been on 5 interviews, so he's more than likely
He's gonna have
to
a
get
job.
one of those. But yeah, that last game, it just, I don't know. And then the last one, So I know Mike Tomlin's going to return, so I can't put him there. I would have thought that he would have got traded. I don't know. I'm going to have to come back to that 5th one.
Okay. Nah, I mean, me personally, I think I like with you. I have Harbaugh at 1, but I think he's going back to Michigan. But since he's still since he's still available, I will have him 1. I will have Aaron Glenn is not gonna. He's gonna stay in. He'll probably get interviewed.
I don't know if that defense improved enough.
Oh yeah,
well, they improved a lot, but I don't think he necessarily.
So here's what the problem is going to be for Aaron Glenn and even Ben Johnson, but not as much Ben Johnson because he's an offensive mind. But they're going to keep on winning, and the more they win, the less time they have to go on the interview. So that's why Dan Quinn was able to go on the interviews that he went on. So, but the thing is with Ben Johnson, if a team is really interested in Ben Johnson, they'll hold off hiring whoever they're going to be just so they can interview him.
So my 5th one just came to mind, and I would take a flyer on Eric Bieniemy.
Eric Bieniemy is not going to be a head coach.
He's not going to be a head coach. I don't know if his past or his personality. Because his personality is not for everybody.
Right.
But I do feel if he was in the right situation, he could possibly make some noise. And I think we all felt like he should have got an opportunity because, we're talking about like Ben Johnson, who didn't do anything close, remotely close to what Eric Bieniemy did, while he was the Chiefs OC, and he hasn't gotten an opportunity. So somebody just put Eric Bieniemy to Seattle.
It's not going to happen. I'm sorry, Bieniemy's not getting a head coaching job. He's not. I mean, sometimes we got.
So does he go back to the Chiefs?
I would have thought he went. Well, he's still part of the Washington because they haven't gotten rid of any of the.
Right.
They haven't gotten rid of any of the assistants, and I think had they got rid of the whole staff, then he probably would have went to Kansas City. I mean, but we don't know what happened on other than him not calling the plays, but we don't really know if his pride will let him go back to Kansas City. Who knows? But it's a job, so we'll see. I would say this. There's certain. I feel like a lot of these teams know who they want immediately, right? They know who they want. They're targeting them, and some of them are waiting because we haven't had who got hired. Gerard Mayo, he got hired the next day, but everybody else, who else? Nobody's filled a spot, right?
So what do you think about that? So that was a risk. But not Pete Carroll, but Kraft said that he felt the same type of energy when he hired Belichick. And one thing I will say is he's a billionaire. He's been a successful billionaire, so he might have good instincts, right? He made a tough decision with getting rid of Bill Belichick,
Right.
and like you said, he did that fast. Like he got Gerard Mayo in there.
Okay. So I'm looking on Instagram, right? And there's a question. We interviewed his son. Is it Chris Dooley?
Mhm.
It's Chris?
Yep.
Yeah. So he asked, he wondered why the enemy isn't getting a head coaching gig. I got my thoughts, right? Because I've asked this question I don't know how many times, right? Can he interview bad? Is there
Judging by the way he talks in some of his interviews, that is a strong possibility.
but here's my thing though. I don't know if you're gonna tell me that Dan Campbell and Nick Sirianni, the way they looked at their opening press conferences, you would have thought that they had good interviews, right? I think sometimes the work speaks for itself. And I think that him being affiliated with the Kansas City Chiefs and they having because here's the thing, and here's what may help him is that I was with Kansas City all these years, and we were top 5 offense every single year, right? While Patrick Mahomes was there, when Alex Smith was there, we had top 5 offense when I was there. I leave and go to Washington. My quarterback was leading the league in passing for a majority of the year, and we weren't winning, but our offense was scoring points, and their offense looks like crap. They're not even top 10 in the league in offense.
So
that would help.
So this is what sells me, because you brought up Dan Campbell. Right?
Mhm.
Now I'll keep it there as an example. I use Antonio Pierce. Sometimes you see leaders in people that you have confidence in.
Right.
And it goes back to what I was just saying about Bill Kraft, like
Bob Kraft.
Mm-hmm. Bill Kraft, but Mayo, right? We don't know what type of inspiration.
That's why he got the job. Kraft, Mayo. Okay, whatever. Boots.
no, but sometimes you see leader of men, right?
Okay.
So when you hear Dan Campbell talk and that opening press conference that you're talking to, yeah, me ready to suit up. I ain't been in no pants.
You gonna bite kneecaps and
yeah, like I was an instant fan to where you saw this belief in I want to be part of what that guy is building. Right. Sometimes when you see other guys, I can't really put this on Eric Bieniemy because we don't really like hear him talk a lot. But can you walk into a room and like any interview, it's about selling yourself and having people formulate the opinion that if I turn over this job to you, my franchise is in good hands. I need this guy because you're the guy that could take us to the promised land. And if you can't like articulate that, then you're dead in the water. Now, I find it hard to believe that Matt Patricia, Josh McDaniels, or it's a couple of guys that you can say that like it's like,
well, they were white and they worked for New England. So, think about it, right? Sometimes, like right now, I think your coaching tree. Where'd you come from? Those guys were coming from New England, winning multiple championships. So they probably didn't interview the greatest, but I was with Bill Belichick. We did this, and this. I did this, and this. Well, coming from there, we whatever. And they said all they heard was I was with Bill Belichick and we won Super Bowls, right? Then you look at Sean McVay, right? And I guess they're all technically from Shanahan's tree, right? Is it Mike Shanahan? He pretty much hired all of them. So I don't know. It's kind of weird because they were all in Washington. They were all there, and Mike Shanahan was the coach. So Kyle, McVay, LaFleur. Who am I missing?
So,
but Mike McDaniel comes from Kyle Shanahan.
So with Mike McDaniel, the McVays, what you said, what sells you on them is okay. They're not necessarily like football guys, right? So they're not the Dan Campbells.
The former player. They're not the former player.
Right. But this guy knows X's and O's. This guy's immersed himself, and I started from the ground up. I was a scout. I was a film guy. I was this. I've been in this coaching room, and I'm really a student of the game.
Right.
And I have the next innovative philosophy that if I install this and I put the right people in the right position, you could be successful.
I told you about the time I met McVay on the plane going to Vegas. And he was a like a grad student or grad assistant or whatever with the Buccaneers, right? And the playbook it was about this thick. I was looking like, oh my God. I mean, and granted nowadays the playbook's on an iPad,
right?
But I mean, and the crazy thing is because I had an aisle seat, so if I'm on the aisle, he's on the other aisle, so we both he's drawing things up, and we're like having football conversation, and it's weird that years later, he's a Super Bowl winning coach, went to another one, but and he was young, so this was probably 14 years ago, so it's just like it's crazy that those type of things happen, and now he had family that coached in the NFL before, so it's
so they put you on the right path.
Absolutely,
they put you into the right rooms to where you're learning, and you could take those things and then you could apply them. And one thing I took from watching Mike McDaniel for the Hard Knocks, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you look at him, I'm like, who's this goofy kid wearing all these like stuff? Like he doesn't even look like a football coach, but one thing that I've learned is you could be a Dan Campbell leader, or you could just be a guy that people follow you because you know what you're talking about.
Yep.
And that's the thing with him is what was evident is he works hard, right?
Right.
He works hard, and maybe he's not the rah-rah in your face type of guy, but they trust and they believe in whatever game plan he's going to put together.
Absolutely.
And when you're at that level, I think that's the most important thing is, are you going to put us into a right position to where we can win? Right.
So, I mean, it's going to be interesting. And I'm definitely, I want to see some of these guys are going to give. So we got Gerard Mayo. Will there be another black? I guess the only other black candidate is it can't be just you still got Aaron Glenn, you still have Bieniemy, and I'm sure there's other black candidates, but I mean we're gonna see, and I think after this week, 4 more teams are gonna lose, and most because the Texans offensive coordinator is a candidate. It's hard for me to say his name, but you're gonna have most of these teams are gonna have coordinators that are gonna be getting interviewed, which I think is a good thing, right? I sometimes get tired of seeing the retreads, and not to bring it back to Dallas, but had Dallas got rid of Mike McCarthy, I don't want to see Bill Belichick in Dallas. I don't. I would take Harbaugh, but Harbaugh would be I don't think he's technically a retread because he's coming from college, right? And I don't even know if Harbaugh even went the Dallas job.
So I'm not going to get too far into this,
mm-hmm.
and we would disagree with this, and we will leave the show on this.
Oh God!
I think if Dallas had Bill Belichick, their Super Bowl, I really think that
I don't.
With his philosophies, if he was in Dallas,
who would be the offensive coordinator?
It's Belichick. He'll figure it out.
What?
Yeah, he'll figure it out. With that level of talent, and it's been a long time since he's had that level of talent, he would figure out how to get your team over the hump. And I like Mike McCarthy, but he ain't no goddamn Bill Belichick. And
Bill Belichick's not even Bill Belichick, man.
if you gave Bill Belichick
Oh my
a talented
God.
roster, he will be back in the Super Bowl.
All right, yo. So
Yeah, we can end it there, but I'm telling you,
you tripping. I'm telling you, you tripping.
that man is the greatest coach of all time.
That don't mean he gonna be good for Dallas.
Look, I'm telling you, he would have fixed the defense.
The defense wasn't really
and-
broke. They just need to get some damn linebackers and get some DBs.
I'll tell you this, and will definitely be out. He was the Eagles coach. Bill Belichick is the greatest coach of all time.
How many times you gonna say that?
It's a proven fact.
It's debatable.
Debatable. Debatable.
Hey, look, the game is.
No.
Okay. I'll agree that Bill Belichick is the greatest of all time. I think he's probably. I don't know if he's on the Mount Rushmore of coaches,
Yeah.
right? But just because you're the best of all time doesn't mean that the game has passed you by, right?
The Patriot way has passed everybody by.
That's all he knows. That is all he knows.
As long as he don't bring the Patriot way.
He's been doing that for over 30 years. You think he's going to change now? No. Bill Belichick probably doesn't. He probably has a flip phone.
Look, if Belichick goes somewhere to where they tell him, look, don't worry about the salary cap. We pay our players here. This ain't New England.
Hey, yo, come on, man. What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Listen.
They tell him, like,
This
look,
man-
we're not
this-
getting rid of our star player. We're going to pay him. We don't give a shit about fifth round pick that you're going to get for getting this program.
We start cursing. That's when it's time to go. Listen. And I don't want this to start a whole nother debate, but the game has passed Bill Belichick by, right? You heard the old adage, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. He's the old dog. He's the old dog.
If you're out there listening,
Oh
I
my
have
gosh.
faith in you. I don't think you need a young team, and I don't think you need to take the Patriot way, but I pray that you get some talent. And I think
Atlanta has a lot of talent, man. Atlanta has a lot of talent.
I don't think at this phase he needs to develop a quarterback. I think right now he needs to go into a situation where they already got like a ready quarterback,
Mm-hmm.
and he just needs to tweak the defense a little bit and clean some opportunities up. I think he can fix the Chargers.
Bill Belichick?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I mean, I'd rather him in. He's not going to the West Coast though. He's the East Coast guy through and through.
Yeah.
And the game has passed him by. He can be an advisor. He can be. I mean, he's gonna get a head coaching job. Like I think like this. If he went to Atlanta, right? He's gonna bring discipline. I feel sorry for whoever the quarterback is gonna be. I don't know, man.
I want to tell you, look, if all these vacancies go by and Bill Belichick does not have a job, it would be a travesty. Like if you at least if you had the opportunity to bring him into your organization, you have to. You have to bring him into your organization if you have the opportunity.
Why?
So look, right? We talk about the Commanders, right? We talk about Harbaugh, and I do think that because Harbaugh has shown that he can win all different type of ways, as far as like having instant success,
Mm-hmm.
having won at the collegiate level and build a program. Like he's shown that he's able to do that, and his connection with young players.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the like trend, right? But if you're a team like the Commanders that has not done a lot in a long time,
mm-hmm.
what do you have to lose with bringing in Bill Belichick? You're trying to get a different culture. You're trying to change. You're trying to rejuvenate the fan base. If you don't get a hardball, and it's between Bill Belichick and Eric Bieniemy, I think you got to go with Bill Belichick.
So I agree there. I do agree there. I need to look up how old Bill Belichick is first. So here's the thing. I agree with
absolutely right. I will fire my coach after we get off the air and sign Belichick. I might even try to trade for him after we.
I don't think that you. So Belichick is 71 years old. He'll be 72 this year. Not too old. I mean he's old, but I don't know if I don't want to see. You know what? I'm lying. I would want to see Belichick loosen up a bit. I feel like I said this already, but I want to loosen up a little bit. You got the younger generation. They're gonna go live on Instagram. They're gonna make all these TikToks. Yo, in the locker room after a win, let us see you do some little dance in the locker room.
What are you talking about? I seen them eating chicken wings in Magic City.
Hey yo, hey yo, Scott. When you see him eating chicken wings,
nah, I'm just playing.
I was about to say, when you see him eating chicken wings,
in Magic City,
oh my God, come on, man. So
stop it. It's time to go and get us canceled. Bill Belichick might have a cease and desist.
But my thing is if he finds a way to, I don't want to, when I say loosen up, I don't want him to change his philosophies. I think his philosophies to an extent are well, not to an extent, they are amazing. Like that, it is what it is. But finding a way to adjust and be relatable to the younger generation, What? Wow.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Damn. That kind of threw me for a loop. Rest in peace, man. Golly. I can't even crack my jokes like I wanted to.
Yeah,
But I'll say this, so we get up out of here. He needs to be more relatable. And I'm not telling him to be Harbaugh. I'm not telling him to be Pete Carroll. But you see those two guys. Well, Pete Carroll, I don't know. I think he kind of lost his locker room a little bit. But I think that more players can relate to Pete Carroll than they can Bill Belichick. Just look at somebody like Tom Brady. New England Tom Brady and Tampa Bay Tom Brady are totally different. You see what I'm saying? I'm not talking about early Tom Brady because he was young. I'm talking about last 5-10 years of New England and the 3 years he was in Tampa. He was doing commercials. He was like on IG Live, and he just looked like Tom Brady can have fun. You just didn't see it in New England because they were in the chokehold. And anywhere he goes, he can't do that. He can't, or it's going to be a wrap.
Nah, I definitely agree.
So, all right. This off. I guess we gotta get out of here. Hey Scott, man.
So the bet was I gotta wear this for the rest of the playoffs, right?
Correct.
All right.
You know what? I got another one for you next week.
Oh no, I'm just wearing this one. I'm wearing another one. I ain't changing jerseys every goddamn week. And really, honestly, so I'll tell you where the jacked up person Anna is, right? So when I found this out, I was like, all right, so look, man, this is like, can I wear like a cool like sweatshirt, right?
I said, yeah. Oh, you talking about what? Cowboy sweatshirt?
Yeah.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh
Let me
no!
just wear like a cool sweatshirt. Maybe I can blend in and nobody know. But this petty guy, he didn't even make me even buy my own jersey to wear. He bought this jersey, and I want to tell you right now, I can guarantee you can have this motherfucker back. You didn't waste your money. I'll wash it and everything, and I'll give you this motherfucker back. Like,
yeah, we might frame that joint. Yo, you gotta sign that joint.
I ain't you signing shit. All right. All right. Well,
Wow.
I'll wear it the rest of the playoffs.
We only got a few more weeks.
Hey man, it's a bet's a bet. You know, I lost, and I'll pay up my bet. So.
Well, would you rather that or yoke him up?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. See, it all works out.
Yeah,
it all works out.
Yeah. I don't want to crack an egg over my head. But,
Oh man, you gotta call Charles. All right, anyway. All right, man. It's off the record. I'm Anthony
your
Adebayo.
boy Scotty B.
All right, we're gonna get up out of here.
Anthony Adebayo. We off the record.
with you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes. You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo and the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5. We off the record.
We're different from any other sports.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B.
We off the record.